What is up, guys? Dapper here, and thanks for joining for some more gameplay. So today I'm recording a Pioneer match. It's been quite some time. I've had to get a little bit of some different hardware set up, but I've also been just revisiting the deck. And of course, the deck that I'm playing is vampires, but this is a different spin on it. So pretty much on this channel, I have consistently been playing a Dimir, a blue-black version of Vampires and Pioneer, kind of centered around Night Veil Predator and a few other notable guests. Now I've decided to splash in white so that I can make an Esper control vampires list, and honestly, this is the best that the deck has ever felt. So let's just get into it and see what happens. So this is Esper Vampires versus Mono Red Burn and Pioneer. So let's go ahead and get this guy started off. Playing a Watery Grave first. Swift Spear. Okay, taking one. Okay. We're probably going to Indulgence here at some point, because right now our only line is going to be Soren into likely either an Evelyn or a freshly drawn Edgar. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to do here. So let's go ahead and Soren. Put Evelyn out here just so we can kind of see what our opponent is working with. Shrapnel Blast. They go ahead and dispose of Evelyn very quickly. Play with fire. 2 damage to the face. Got 6 damage. Oh, did not attack Soren. Came straight towards me. Let's see what we got. Let's try to get in another Soren. Throw out a Night Veil so we can try to save the day. Risk factor. We're not going to take the 4 from risk factor. Absolutely not. So we're going to block with Night Veil. Block one of these guys. 7th sprint. That's going to be +2/+1 to the other guy. And we're just going to scoop that one up, guys. So lost the first game. It was a resounding loss. So one thing that I will do at the end of this match, I will show you guys the current deck list and kind of let you guys see what we're brewing, so to speak, here. But yeah, let's go into game number 2. All right, so let's get into game number 2. We kind of had to switch some of these sounds up a little bit. Like I said, we're on a little bit of a different setup here. Let's go ahead and get rolling. Okay. Play over Fiend's Tower. One of the staples of this Esper list. We're going to start to get smacked right away. You have to remember we're playing freaking mono red here, which is fine. Gold Hound. This is a mana dork, so that's nice. We're going to counter this guy because we're done taking damage. If we don't have to do it, then we're not going to. I am going to play Ashiok. So this is not your traditional Dream Render Ashiok. This is Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. So it's not the one that exiles cards just straight to exile. This guy will exile the top 3. And then I can actually put creatures onto the battlefield. So this is really good for a deck that's either creature centric or relies on their creatures to help push through damage. So that's why I thought siding this guy in would be very, very good in this matchup. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be taking... Are we not attacking the Planeswalker here? They're just trying to get... The opponent's trying to get this match over with, which I can respect. Okay, so we're going to place one of their creatures onto the battlefield. We're going to leave up Settle the Wreckage, leave up Make Disappear, leave up Void Rend, whatever we need to leave up. Opponent has us down to 4, so we're going to Void Rend on the Arcanist because we don't want them casting free spells. I don't like free spells. Opponent just chatted. They said oops on that one. I guess they didn't mean to attack into us, which is fine. Sliding in for 1. Killed in Flame Sage. Let's go ahead and counter that guy, and we're going to sacrifice here to make sure that the opponent cannot do it. No, correction, did not have to sacrifice. Play with fire, gets rid of 1. This guy has Menace, so this is the perfect time to settle the wreckage. Even though I was funny enough, I was saving settle the wreckage just in case they just had a lot of crap on the battlefield, but I kind of didn't have too much of a choice there, did I? Let's go ahead and get out Soren here. I'm going to gain some life with the Swift Spear. Going to put us back at 5, so play with fire. We're going to counter play with fire, and now we're going to sack one of their guys to make disappear double up. So we're going to make sure we're not going to take any unnecessary damage. This is going to leave our opponent with 1 card in hand. March of Reckless Joy, similar to Skewer the Critics. So now we're going to put 1 card onto the battlefield. So with this Esper control list, this is kind of where we want to be. We're not going to take the damage from risk factor because the ball is in our court. We've got a Vanishing Burst in hand. If these guys play something, then we're going to snipe it the heck down. We know it's going to be 1 color at this point. Gaining life with Edgar. We're not taking anything. They're trying to risk factor us, but we're not taking anything. We have 2 Vanishing Bursts in hand. Slide in with Edgar again for 6 more. We're up to 17. They're playing risk factor again. Absolutely not. Opponent scoops it up. So the way that we came back with this is a timely settle the wreckage, and then we drew into what we needed. We were collecting the Swift Spears from Ashiok and just slowly just deploying them to the battlefield. And then Edgar lifelink, he's already a big body, but throwing counters on that guy, adding Death Touch and lifelink helped our cause, actually helped completely swing the game around, drawing into 2 Vanishing Bursts. So you guys are definitely seeing what the deck, number 1, is capable of, number 2, what the deck can do. Note, this is a control list. You know, we're playing with Fatal Push. We're playing with lots of different things inside the main board. This is a lot less creature dense than my blue-black vampires list that I've been piloting a lot on this channel. We're only running 16 creatures. So, like I said, you guys will see that. And of course, if there's any types of suggestions that you guys would like to make in the comments, please feel free to do so. But before we get to that point, we've got to go to game 3. Alright guys, time for game 3, and like I said, I'm going to give you guys a complete rundown of the list after the game has been played, so you can kind of see my thought process behind building this deck and where I think this deck can go. Right now, just when it comes to the Pioneer metagame, Mono Black is still the standout, but the meta share has went down significantly, so we have the best chance to be formidable in Pioneer. It's just finding the most appropriate build of it, and I've always been a fan of a controlling list. I like to play blue. I've played Merfolk, I've played Spirits. I like to play things that have a lot of tempo, and I like to play things that also just have a good back and forth with the opponent. I don't want to play solitaire, but I like to just have fun and go back and forth. So let's go ahead and get into game number 3. Let's see how we do. We came back in game number 2, so Rabbit Battery, turn 1. They're going to slide on in there for 1. I think we're going to play out our Watery Grave tapped. I think we're going to probably... So they're deploying their creatures. They're like, hey, we got to kill this guy. Let's go ahead and get Glacial Fortress out. This will leave up a Make Disappear, which we're going to use now to get this Flame Sage the heck out of there. Going to take 3, which we're 2 turns away from being able to swing the clock. So we're just going to take whatever they give us. Okay, we're going to Vanishing Burst here, get rid of one of those Rabbit Batteries, taking 2. And they play another one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get Kalidas out. Why Kalidas first over Edgar, with Edgar being the slightly bigger body? Well, simple here. In this case, Kalidas has lifelink. That's that's a pretty straightforward thing in this case. Now the opponent does something sweet here. They put both of the rabbit batteries here on the Gold Hound. I thought that was super cool. That was super cool, and that's one of the great things about rabbit battery. It just allows so much configurability in this deck. Opponent Skull Craxus, because they knew Kalidas is fully online. Opponent has one card in hand, playing a Swift Spear. We're going to leave everything up, and we're just going to see what we draw into. Drew into Fatal Push. We're swinging in with Kalidas. Let's get to 10 life. So we're clawing back again, and we're going to go ahead and push this guy. Get the heck out of here. Alright, let's go ahead and sack the zombie to Kalidas, go up to a 6-7. Alright, let's go ahead and get Soren out. We're online, folks. It's about to get serious out here. Shambling Vent, Kalidas, Edgar, all lifelink swinging in. Takes us to 23, opponent down 2-3. And yeah, the opponent scoops it up. We were chatting in the side over here, and really had a good time playing this opponent. So definitely shout out to the opponent on this. Was a great sport. Like, I've been testing the heck out of this list all week, and like I said, it's feeling really, really good, and being able to come back was really nice. Game number one probably should not have kept that hand, because I did not have any interaction at all, but that's why you test. Games 2 and 3, I definitely had more interaction, at least one body in hand, which is very important for this deck. You have to have interaction to be able to either counter or dispose of a threat that your opponent places onto the board. So won this match 2-1. Have not played a league with this deck yet, but a league is coming. It is definitely coming. So with that being said, let's take a look at the deck. I'm sure you guys have been waiting on it. Alright guys, so here is the deck. Let's go ahead, let's see how big can we make this, and let's go ahead and scroll this on up. Okay, so this is currently what we are working with. Can you guys see everything? Yes, you guys can see everything. So the mana base. The mana base is essentially, I'm not going to say a complete ripoff, but it is somewhat of a ripoff of a stock Pioneer Esper control list. Those guys typically run 27 lands plus a Drari's Disruption, which is one of the modal double face cards from, not Kaldheim. Yes, from no. I forgot the set, but it's playing one of the modal double face cards. But in this case, we're not deploying that resource, so we're just going to do 24. We've got one Castle Vantress, so we can scry. Let me see. If we have an island, it's not going to come in tapped. We got Drowned Catacomb. Once again, if we have an island, it's not coming in tapped. Same for a swamp. Glacial Fortress. The heavier hitters are going to be 2 Godless Shrine, 2 Hallowed Fountain, 4 Watery Grave. These are going to be our mains. We definitely want to have at least one of these in our hand each and every single opening turn. If so, we're going to be completely fine. Deploying the use of 1 Hall of Storm Giants, 1 Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Both of these are excellent, and I think so we actually have 3 man lands. We're dealing with Hall of Storm Giants, which is of course 7/7 Ward 3. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. When it attacks, you can exile something from an opponent's graveyard. Shambling Vent, which this comes from the stock Esper control list, and 2/3 white black elemental with a lifelink. That lifelink is absolutely huge. Now going on to our interaction package, what we've got here, we've got 3 Fatal Push, 4 Make Disappear, 3 Dovin's Veto, 2 Tainted Indulgence, 3 Void Rend. This has been the piece of the deck up until this point that I have been tinkering with the most to kind of figure out the right balance. I believe that the 3 Fatal Push is really solid. I think that 4 Make Disappear is what's needed. 3 Dovin's Veto. This could be 2, but right now we're running 3. I was running 3 Tainted Indulgence. This is just a card draw engine. Part of me wants to go back to 3. That first game that I had against Mono Red that you guys just watched, if I would have had more card draw, it could have helped. But once again, honestly, I had a hand that I should have disposed of. Like, you guys saw the gameplay. If I would have mulliganed that hand, perhaps I would have fared better, or at least lived longer to play out more of the deck. But I mean, you live and you learn. You can't win every match, so it is what it is. Void Ren, just for whacking the heck out of any permanent. Crazy creature, crazy planeswalker, get the heck out of here. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. So next, let's move on to the Planeswalker package. So we're dealing with 2 Planeswalkers, two different copies of Sorin. Number 1, Goat Sorin. 3 mana Sorin. I'm running a 3 of in here, not a 4 of, because we're not as creature dense. So I decided to back off one of the Sorins, but typically I see one of these about every other game, maybe about 66 to 70% of the time. We all know what it does. Next is Sorin the Merciless. Because we are running 16 creatures of density, the ability to make a body and then potentially dig for a body or dig for an answer is going to be very, very useful here. Now, the creature package, I feel like all of the creatures I'm very confident in, except maybe Silver Smoke Ghoul, but these are going to be creatures that are going to be more on the top end. So, of course, Silver Smoke Ghoul plus Sorin equals Lightning Helix all day. We're perfectly fine with that. Kalidas is a complete and utter house. Lifelink, of course. Edgar, it's a house once again. 4/4, other vampires get +1/+1, so we have a lord. If the thing dies, then we get other creatures, and then this brother comes back. Night Veil Predator, my favorite vampire of all time, one of the linchpins of this deck. Some people might say it sucks. I don't necessarily think it sucks. To have a body on the battlefield that your opponent can do nothing with, only dealing with the board wipe, or things that affect the board as a whole, I feel that is still invaluable in the game. And then last, always having a huge impact is Evelyn. I kind of want to get the other art for this, but Evelyn always has a huge impact. Just as soon as she hits the battlefield, I'm stealing crap from the opponent. I'm marking stuff for my side with one of her collection counters, and we're just really getting the thing going. Next, let's see if we can take a screen. Let me see. We're going to have to slide this guy all the way over because I know where you guys can see. There we go. And then let's change the display to card view. And let's do power view instead so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay, there we go. So this is the sideboard. This is the thing. Now the sideboard is definitely a little bit in flux. We're trying to make this a very clean sideboard. So right now for our graveyard matchups, we've got 2 Rest in Peace. You know what Rest in Peace does. Exile. Straight up exile. In my blue-black list, I was playing Leyline of the Void. But here, we're just good old-fashioned Rest in Peace. Now the difference here is that Rest in Peace affects all graveyards. Leyline of the Void only affects our opponent. It's one-sided. So I've actually been thinking about swapping Leyline. If anybody has any suggestions whether to play Rest in Peace or Leyline, definitely let me know. But it's just the fact that if you don't draw a Leyline, which that's the point, right? That's the point of drawing a freaking Leyline, is that you can just slam it down turn 0 and then just affect the board from the jump. But if you don't, then you're waiting until turn 4, and by then you could be dead. This slot, I've got 2 Settle the Wreckage for creature decks. I'm running 2 Infernal Grasp just to handle things that there's nothing that can't be handled by what I have in the deck, but we're just running these 2 just in case we run into some craziness. Noxious Grasp, anything mono green. We know that mono green is the best deck in the format at this moment. Vanishing Verse, absolute house. We saw what it did in the previous matchup, exiling a monocolored permanent. This thing is very valuable. Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. This is a really good card against creature decks, and I knew that it would be, and that's why I put it in. Between this, Settle the Wreckage, I think that I can handle, and of course my Death package, which is just all of this stuff. I think we can handle most things. Unmoored Ego, I'm coming for your combo decks. We know what this thing is. There are other similar cards in the format that I am aware of. They are all similar, which is why I play Unmoored Ego. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but Unmoored Ego and both Night Veil Predator comes from Guilds of Ravnica, and that's pretty much when I started playing more so competitively again, picking up the game. I actually came back in, I think I told this story before, I came back in 2017 after a long break in high school. I started playing like in 2003, and then I stopped, and whatever, that's how the ball bounces sometimes. But yeah, this is the list, folks. This is the list. I will link it in the description if you guys want to take a look at it. But yeah, I'm trying to make this work because I think that it can. So if you think that this list can also work, definitely start playing my list as well, and we can make stuff happen. Of course, try to join the Vampires MTG Discord. I have not officially posted anything about this list there yet, but it will be as soon as I run this bad boy through a league. I think that this list can 100% at least get a minimum of a 3-2. 5-0, I'm not sure. 4-1, I think it can get a 4-1, but I know that we can come out on the positive side in the win-loss column here. So with that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for maintaining your subscription. If you are subscribed, it definitely means a lot. It definitely expects some more gameplay here in the future. All right, thanks a lot, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.